Beautiful people, my name is Yanoki. Thank you so much for joining me. On this channel, I have shared a video on how I made my cassava flour at home and my plantain flour without the help of any dehydrator. Kindly check on it. So in this video, I am just making my homemade fufu flour, which is simply combining the cassava flour and the plantain flour that I have already shared on this channel. So it's very important that you take a look at those videos so that you'll be able to understand this. So I'm just using my whisk, okay, to mix them nicely. And I have my plantain and cassava powder ready for our fufu. So I'll just store this in an airtight container and it can be on the shelf for as long as a year. Once it's nicely dried, it just once it's assured that it's nicely dried, it can be on the shelf for that long. So I'll be demonstrating two ways by which I prepare this. So the first way is simply mixing the fufu flour with some water. So I measured about 2.5 cups of fufu flour and I used 3 cups of water to mix this. Initially I started with 2 cups of water. I noticed that it was too thick, so I added 1 more cup of water to this. Once that is done, I'll just go ahead and put it on my oven with the fire on, and I'll begin to stir continuously. Okay, I'm not going to move away from this because I don't want any lumps in this. We don't add salt to our fufu, so I'm not adding any salt to this at all. I'll just go ahead and continue stirring. As you stir, you are likely to notice small pieces of lumps forming individually. Don't worry, just continue stirring. Once um, they are a bit solid, you start pressing it. You start pressing it against your saucepan. Okay, it's very important that you do that. What that is going to do is to crush the individual pieces of lambs and make it together like a very uniform, smooth fufu mixture. The water that I used to mix this was very small, so kneading it was quite difficult. I had to put some water in there so that it can soften up. Okay, so what I did was added some water. I'm just going to cover this and let it boil over. Once that is done, I'll just come in and then stir this again. When you add water to your fufu at this stage, you are likely to have it all falling apart as if it's not going to work, but it will definitely work once all the water evaporates and is nicely immersed in the fufu. It will all go away. So as you stir continuously, once the water begin to evaporate like everything, you just continue to press the fufu against your saucepan, continue to knead it and pressing it against your saucepan. I mentioned in my previous video that fufu flour has become expensive. The price is just crazy, and cassava is one of the cheapest products we can get on our market when they are in season, and plantain too can be very seasonal. So I just encourage you all to take advantage of the seasons. When you have cassava in season, just get a lot of it, freeze them and use it for your flour. Same with plantain as well. So this is the texture I'm going for. Fufu, people have different preferences. Some people want theirs hard, others want theirs soft. So the water you add really depends on how hard or soft you want your fufu. So now that it is done, I'll just go ahead and put it in my earthenware bowl, and I will use my grinder, which is my wooden grinder tapoli, to mold my fufu nicely. After which I'll put my serving bowl on top, flip it over, and here we are. I feel like the light is not making justice to this, so I went to take a picture outside. This is how the fufu looks nicely. Now I'm back inside and just serving. There are certain
the
things when
super
you say it, people may think it's because you made a video, but this was nice. See, this was nicer than the commercial fufu flour that I buy. Trust me, it was so delicious. Like, even the texture, I should have put my hands in for you to see, but unfortunately, I didn't do that. Now, I want to show you this second method. This was the method that I use anytime I buy commercial fufu flour. Okay, and so even when I was trying it, I was using this same method, but I noticed that even without this method, it was still nice though. So, what I did was I bought my plantain, and once it was cooked, I poured the plantain in the blender, just the plantain. I added room temperature water to it to blend because I didn't want to blend the hot stuff in the blender. So once that was done, I emptied it, and then I poured 1 cup of the fufu flour that I made at home, and I'll just go ahead and knead it. So this was what I used to do even when I buy commercial fufu flour. And whenever I do that, I felt it was the closest. When I use commercial flour, it was the closest to the perfect pounded fufu. Yeah, so I after I made the fufu flour, this was the first thing that I did with it. I went through the same process as I would do with the commercial fufu. Okay, but then I decided to just do it with the flour, like what you saw in the initial review, the first one that I shared, and that one also tasted so good. So I'm not even going to waste my time to do this process anymore. However, if you use commercial fufu flour, I would say that use this process, because the commercial one, this is the closest for me, okay, that you get to making your fufu. So as you can see, this is more like rich in plantain, because the fufu flour had cassava and plantain before I bought this plantain and added it to it. Both of them were so good, okay, but as I said, I was surprised that the one I made at home tasted good, even though I didn't have to go
So
through this
beautiful
process.
people, I hope you try this. Save some money. Save some money. Save some money. It's very easy. Thank you so much. And please check on this lentil soup as well. I have the recipe on my channel. It was absolutely delicious. Lentil in itself is healthy. Okay, and so do check it out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I really appreciate you. Please like this video, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for amazing content. Bye.